Google Bard, the real contender rival to ChatGPT?
So we are doing, ours is a relatively young lab. We started less than 4 years ago, and pretty much the entire team was built from scratch. But again, we had this very intense focus on both making foundational contributions to AI, as well as applying it to solve big problems, especially those that are inspired by the Indian context. So it includes work on, one of the things that we really wanted to do was to democratize access to information. It's very nice for those of us in this audience, you and me, who understand English. We have information at our fingertips. What about, let's say, that farmer's daughter in Haryana or the laborer's son in Chhattisgarh? How do you level the playing field for them? Get them access to information, again, in their native language. So our team has been taking the lead on building these multilingual models, which in a single model will provide support. Initially, we released a model which provided support for 16 Indian languages. It was used in the Google Assistant product as well as made available to the researchers and practitioners, to now working on a model which will support over 100 Indian languages. We are collecting speech samples from 773 districts of India in partnership with Indian Institute of Science. And already some of these models are beginning to make their way into kind of some of these Google, not just existing products like Assistant, but also upcoming products like Bard, that we have been working closely with those teams to improve their capability to understand and respond in Indian languages.
Because Manish, the potential for Google to really be a game changer, disruptor in this space is immense. When we talk about other chatbots, a lot of their data sets are restricted to 2021 or 2022. Google Bard, with Google's repository of search data, can give you answers in real time. We'll touch upon that in a bit. But I also want to allude to what Ramesh Vadvani, who had joined us earlier at the Tech Today Congress, virtually of course, he mentioned this concept of AI for social good. And from your first point, I think we can segue into that. How much can Google really leverage its expertise, its research, and its understanding of AI to look at solving problems for the underserved?
Absolutely. So we believe, again, AI has this enormous potential to benefit humanity, and which was why one of our very clear focus right from the day one of inception of the lab was to develop AI in a manner that brings the benefits to the underprivileged. So when we started the lab, we in fact organized workshops where we invited dozens of nonprofits and academic groups to come together and start identifying problems that they were grappling with. And we initially funded 6 of those efforts, and in the following year, another 30 efforts. It has already led to some very, very significant impactful work. One example would be our work with a nonprofit called Arman, which runs these programs to improve the health of expecting mothers and their babies within the first year of their lives. They found that these helpful tips that they deliver during every week of the pregnancy and during the first year of the child's life results in measurable improvements in outcomes both for these mothers as well as their babies. And yet, so many of these mothers end up dropping out of that program. So they pose this problem to us: can you use AI to help us predict who are at the risk of dropping out? And with the very few human volunteers that we have, because we have thousands and in fact now lakhs of women enrolled in the program at any given point in time, with the few human volunteers, who are the most important women that they should reach out to keep them engaged? And this AI model has actually been deployed in production, and it's already, we have conducted rigorous studies that show the benefits of this model in in keeping these mothers engaged, and which is leading to improved outcomes for themselves as their babies.
When you look at the pace of innovation in the world of AI, it is not rapid, I'd call it frantic. And in that sense, when we speak about something this week, maybe next week it could sound a bit dated, given some new thing that's happened in the world of AI. But another theme that's really erupting in the technology world is responsible AI, right? As these language learning models get smarter and smarter, there's an onus on tech companies to really ensure transparency, accountability, and approach this responsibly. What do you think?
Absolutely. So Google, in fact, in 2018, came out with this set of principles for responsible AI, which we have been really strictly adhering to in all of our both research projects as well as development of products. These responsible AI principles both talked about what we will not do. We will not apply AI to cause harm to humans, start developing weapons, and engage in surveillance and so on, to also how we would develop AI in a manner that enhances the safety, that does not perpetuate biases. So right from the life cycle of an AI project to using data sets, we have been, for instance, creating these methodologies and best practices for how to make sure your data sets themselves are diverse, and in fact making a lot of these tools available to even other practitioners, so that they can in turn make their AI models fairer. So that was kind of, I guess, several years ago, right, which was ages ago in this world of AI. With all of these amazing advances that we are seeing in generative AI, one of the things, again, we are espousing is this combination of being bold as well as responsible. Because on one hand, these generative AI technologies have this enormous potential, right, to amplify our human creativity, our potential, our ability to write kind of really wonderful documents, even if we don't have a very good command of the language, to beautiful presentations, to small businesses being able to create amazing ads that help them attract more customers. But at the same time, that potential, right, to create malicious deepfakes, to create misinformation. So it is really important, right, for us to develop these technologies in a manner that is responsible. And we are also calling out for the government to take the lead on coming out with regulations that really amplify the positives of AI, the potential for AI to really improve human lives, while really clamping down, right, while really being able to control the harmful effects of AI, which are very possible with the kind of advanced technology which we are continuing to develop and which is just advancing at an amazing pace.
Manish, now that we've warmed you up, I have to address the hottest topic of 2023. Sundar Pichai at Google I/O made a bunch of announcements. The word artificial intelligence featured right up there, I think 143, 149 times, because that is Google's commitment towards AI. And the real embodiment for the end consumer, some people think it's Google Bard, but I'm guessing you could correct me and anyone who had that thought process, saying it's also the ecosystem of devices. Google Assistant is on every Android device, right? That's why I say that, you know, Google has a disruptive potential in terms of what they can do with Bard, maybe in stock Android in a Pixel device. Tell me a little bit more about Google Bard, and we can also tell our audience about it. And I'm sure Manish is not going to talk about it, but I honestly think, like I said earlier, that Google Bard will be a game changer even in places where ChatGPT has not managed to find success yet. Over to you, Manish.
Yeah, so we have been both kind of coming out with things like Bard, which engages in a conversational manner with the user, and again in a manner that again can really both provide extremely useful information as well as avoid some of the potential for harm in the form of, again, hallucinations, making up facts and so on. And one of the things that Google has already started doing is to integrate some of these capabilities with the traditional strength in search. And so, in fact, at the Google I/O event, again, you also saw some new advances in kind of Google search, in how we now start providing all of this information, but grounded in real facts. And again, presenting some of that information from a variety of websites in a very concise and understandable manner, and being able to then take that conversation forward, right, from the previous query to the next follow-on query and so on. And increasingly, you're going to see, again, these capabilities get richer. We are starting with text-based interfaces, and very soon, right, you'll find not just Google, pretty much the entire industry also moving to multimodal forms of input and output, where already we know in India, right, a lot of people are much more comfortable asking for information through voice rather than typing. And also we tend to be, both people in India, even the Generation Z, right, in the US, often prefers visually rich information, right, rather than only text information. So you're going to see a lot more, I would say, further advances in the capabilities of all these models to really provide both rich information and delightful experience to the users.
It's interesting, a tech visionary like Bill Gates recently said that the winner in this AI race that we've been speaking of, the AI revolution that everyone's spoken so fondly of, will be the tech company that cracks the personal or digital assistant space. Now, what I find fascinating, Manish, from your last answer, is that India could be really the right sort of testing ground for something like this in terms of it being conversational AI, because I've noticed, comparing Bard to a lot of other chatbots out there, that the conversational nature of it really gives it a cutting edge. Is that the future, according to you, generally for the field of AI, to develop a strong conversational product?
So, first of all, at least, I mean, Bill Gates is an amazing visionary and successful. I wouldn't put myself anywhere close to, but I would say the real winner, in my view, is ultimately going to be the user, who will benefit from all of these enormous capabilities, right, in enriching their own lives. So, in my view, yes, one of the very important kind of ways in which we will benefit from AI is to have these very intelligent kind of assistants, which would be around to assist us in various aspects of our lives, right? It could be in giving us access to information. It could be in helping us learn more effectively. It could be helping us lead healthier lives, because we also know, right, so much of the burden of disease today in the world is lifestyle diseases, which can in fact be warded off and kind of significantly addressed through simple lifestyle changes. So I believe, yes, I mean, a very significant part, I mean, I do not look at that as the only thing, because there's also the scientist in me that feels that humanity is also going to benefit from AI accelerated science. That I think we will be able to make fundamentally accelerate our ability to accelerate scientific discoveries. We've already shown glimpses of that, right, through the work done by my colleagues at DeepMind on protein folding, which has been like long considered a very, very tough problem. And they came and through this AI-based approach essentially solved that problem. And they made protein structure for 200 million proteins in the known to humanity. They made AI-based predictions of those 200 million proteins available for free for the research community, for the pharmaceuticals and so on to use, which would have estimated, I mean, each protein structure is today takes about 5 years of PhD time to develop. And so 200 million years of PhD time was just kind of done, right? So in my view, it's also things like that which will accelerate scientific discovery. I mean, at least I certainly am excited about a future where AI helps us as scientists, right, kind of do discoveries, right, which are the equivalent of 1 million papers, perhaps in a given year.
It's very reassuring to know that the AI revolution is here and it's in the able hands of scientists like Dr. Manish Gupta that we are entrusting this particular movement to. Thank you so much. It's been an insightful session. And thank you so much for putting some deep tech into the inaugural session, inaugural rendition of the Tech Today Congress. You've been a lovely audience and you've been an absolutely amazing guest. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ayush.
Before Manish leaves the stage, and now my virtual avatar has come here to address you guys, Dr. Shantanu Patil, Associate Director, Directorate of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, will be felicitating Manish, a token of appreciation. Now, the Tech Today Congress has been a very special one. We've had the who's who from India Inc. We've had gamers, creators, policymakers, of course, and it now culminates in a mega session. As one of the top ministers of the government, someone highly regarded and considered instrumental in driving the digital agenda of the nation and fostering a conducive ecosystem for